We are live again. Somehow we're back. And I'll tell you what, it feels good to be back. Lights are a little dim because it's midnight. It's 11:30 p.m. actually, to be exact. And we're back. My freaking Ableton can't find my iLock. There it goes. It just loaded it up. It just was like, oh, we never mind. We found it. Never mind. You're licensed to L. And it feels good to be back. Honestly, it's been a while. Like a week, and we're still here. We're still doing these things. I love doing these things. It's so much fun. It's really a lot of fun to be here doing these things with you guys. Um, and yeah, it's super chill. It's awesome, awesome sauce. I know it's a late night, so we see if we get any late nighters cruising through. Wasn't originally gonna do a live tonight. Was gonna wait till tomorrow morning, the regularly scheduled one. But I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow. That's actually the truth. I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow because my dentist. I've been pushing it off for a while, and they can only fit me in tomorrow. So I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, and I hate going to the dentist. I don't like going to the dentist at all. It's honestly one of those things that I despise. But I got to go to the dentist tomorrow. I've been pushing it off way too long. So that's what's happening. So we're going to go live tonight, and we're live right now. I'm going to put the waiting screen for a second, and we're going to be right back. Wait, that's not the waiting screen, but it's kind of nice. It's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. Hey, guys. How you doing? Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll be right back. Back. Somehow made it back again. It feels good. It feels good that we keep on doing these things and we're here. I mean, it's like I didn't really know how long we were going to keep doing these, but definitely at least 100. Now we got to do 100. I really can't believe it's been 26 already. It's just like we just kind of just jump on here and get on the live. And it really is unbelievable that we've done 20. This is the 26th one. Happy Halloween to everybody. Hope y'all doing good. And it's honestly, I can't not stress that enough. It's just like unbelievable. It's the 26th one. It's just become routine now. Once a week we get on here live, and it's been working out. It's pretty neat. I love being here with you guys, and it's so wild. It's just like it's unbelievable. It's like I set up the system. I knew what we're going for, but I just didn't think it was going to be like, it just every time, however it comes together, it's always like a surprise. Um, I think that's with music. Like that's a good thing to say. I think with music and with any arts, you have to go on the journey and be comfortable with not knowing exactly where you're going to end up. And that's how you have fun. And it's one of those old sayings, you have to love the journey and not the destination. But it's true. If you're not loving the journey, then what what are you doing here? So, I think it's one of those things where you've got to love the journey because that's what most of it is. That's what most of it is. I mean, you know, look at a lot of famous people. It's like most of the time was the journey. That was the cool part. And it's in retrospect, you're like, oh shit, that was actually really cool. And then, not until later, you're like, wait a minute. the journey was actually really cool, and you know, I should have maybe enjoyed myself a little more. So, you know, it's not all false. The journey is half the freaking thing. I'm trying not to swear, even though Gary Vee swears all the time. Gary Vee's like, I'm swearing. That's who I am. And that is who I am. I swear a lot. Did we actually skip one? Because the last one I have labeled 10/26/24. Maybe we skipped one. I think we did. I think this is actually the 25th one. I don't know. You know, I do my best at this. Do my best to catalog and write these. It's like when you're doing push-ups, right? You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you sometimes you do like a little extra one in there. Um, there is a couple lost episodes, and I still counted them because it's like we did them and then we recorded it and then it's like tallied off somewhere. So just count it. That was a lost episode. Uh, but here we are, writing room 26. No one here. Everyone's sleeping. Halloween was probably a crazy thing. Gonna try and get back on the schedule. Wednesdays is not working for me, so got to do maybe Thursdays. Because things have been popping up Wednesday. It's just been things have been popping up Wednesday, and this time, yeah, I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow. I've been pushing it off for a little while, so I'm going tomorrow. And yeah, I'll definitely be there. That's for sure. I'll definitely be at the dentist. Not looking forward to that. So, it's late. It's Tuesday. I think it's because it's the Tuesday after Halloween. Everyone's just sleeping. People are tired. People were partying. I wonder if people were out partying. But we're still here. We're still doing these. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So without further ado, let's just jump into it, right? We could do it's the writing room. I had some other content ideas I was gonna flesh out. I was like, I could do that while I'm live at the writing room. Uh, so I was gonna do a list of overrated and underrated things. Oh, we got a viewer. Jesus, I didn't mean to put that graphic on. There we go. The graphics off. Graphics off now. And we're back. We could do a couple. Overrated, underrated. We'll do those right now. And we got some people joining the chat. Hell yeah. I'm looking at a list right now. Top 10 analog compressors. Top 10 analog compressors. And number 1 is the TubeTech CL1B. TubeTech CL1B. This bad boy. The TubeTech CL1B goes for $3,920 plus tax. Overrated, underrated. I'm going to go ahead say the CL1B is overrated. TubeTech CL1B overrated. Super creamy sound. I love it. It is a staple. It sounds really good on rap vocals for some reason. It's just slow and creamy. It's a great compressor. But I got to be honest, when we had it in the studio at IV Lab Studios, we put this thing on backup vocals. All the rock guys at the studio, and we were all rock and rollers, we were doing rock records. We put this thing on backup vocals. So I'm going to have to say TubeTech CL1B, overrated. I'm glad Zach's here. Zach, what do you think? He's play Freebird. I'm not playing Freebird. I might sing it. 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird will never change. Oh, 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 oh. As bird will never change. Yeah. I love it. I can't change. I wonder, like, I probably could play it on stream. I'm sure it'll get, like, banned off Facebook. But I could probably do it like a sing-along. That was my whole thing, that I was going to create all original music. So, like, I could, it's copyright free. But Facebook still dings me with copyrights all the time. All the time. Even though I'm like, I contest it every single time. I'm like, I made this music on live. If you watched it, if you actually watched my video, all music was made originally on live. But what are you going to do? And that was Freebird. That was Freebird. I think they only mute parts of it, so maybe they won't take it down. Should we do a sing-along? Special midnight episode? I think I'd have to load it in. I'd have to, like, rip it and then load it into the DAW. That's too much work. Is that too much work, or is that exactly what we're going to do right now? Is that too much work, or are we crazy enough to do it, you know? Why did it make it an APK? That's not... No, I wanted to download YouTube to MP3 sometimes. Also, that's highly illegal, YouTube to MP3. CL1B is the pop sound. You know I'm about the 33609. 33609. $33,609. So right here we've got the 33609, same price as a new CL1B. Overrated, underrated. I'm going to go ahead and say properly rated, the 33609. It's a great compressor. And what's really cool about the 33609 is it's versatile. You can put it on the drum bus, you can put it on vocals, you can put it on backup vocals, you can put it on the snare, you can put it on, whatever you want to put it on. The CL1B is amazing on pop vocals, but to me, it's kind of a one-trick pony. I really wouldn't put it on everything. But the Neve 33609, I would put it on anything. I mean, I would say properly rated the Neve 33609. While we got Zach here and we're having some fun, we're going to go ahead and go through a couple more of these compressors. So what else do we got? We got on this list of the top 10 analog compressors, right? We have, this is kind of the SSL Fusion. So we got the SSL Fusion compressor. I got to pull it up. SSL Fusion. I'm going to go ahead and call this one the SSL Fusion compressor. The SSL Fusion compressor is underrated. This thing rips. Anytime I've gotten a chance to use one, I love the plugin version. The hardware version's amazing. I mean, so many features. It's got drive, it's got density, of course the classic SSL compressor sound, which is like super I would say still to this day underrated. I mean, the SSL bus compressor is on so many records. I always use some type of SSL bus compressor since the day I started. I mean, I remember I bought this $1,000 SSL clone off Craigslist, and that was on all of my first band's records. This is not actually my first band's records, but the second band, Violet Winter. When I was in Violet Winter, it was like this cheap clone of an SSL bus compressor, and we put it on every record. And I have some family members and friends that say those are the best records I've ever done, and I did them like 15 years ago on a cheap SSL clone. And I'll tell you what, the bus compressor, that cheap SSL bus clone I had, the left and the right were mismatched. So luckily I was mixing analog, but I remember having, and for some reason I was really lucky where the faders on this thing, it was like I had a left and a right. Maybe I just put it on 2 channels. So like I remember having to compensate on the right fader a little more. And then I sent it off to mastering. He probably also tried to make it. But I mean, kind of crazy that like it was actually misbalanced because of the compressor. I compensated on the faders, and some people still think they're some of the best records I've done. And those were a lot of fun. But anyways, yeah, SSL bus compressor, just, I would say to this day, underrated. And the Fusion, definitely underrated because it's got a bunch of extra features, like some harmonic distortion on the drive, high pass filter, and some stereo imaging stuff. This thing's awesome. Underrated. Zach says, yes, on the SSL, the only other compressor is the original Manley and vintage Calrac and the Focusrite mastering compressor. I was going to go down this list of the top 10 mastering compressors, top 10 analog compressors, but, you know, Zach sidetracking me with the original Manley. Actually, I haven't had enough experience on the original Manley to say, or a vintage Calrac to say, or a Focus mastering. Actually, I haven't had a lot of experience on those, so we're not going to get sidetracked on that. On this list, though, we have Drummer 1978. I would say the Drummer, old school Drummer, coming in at a hot, this one's what, at 833? Underrated. I remember using this thing. It slams. It kills on drums. This thing's fucking beefy. Underrated. Drummer 1978. Drummer 1978. Underrated. Killer compressor. Let's see. What else do we got here? Empirical Labs Distressor. Empirical Labs Distressor. Underrated. This thing is just one of the best pieces of gear that you can literally put on anything. Shaker, tambourine, clap, vocal, backup vocal. The list goes on and on. Bass, guitar, kick drum, snare drum. Literally, you can put the distressor on everything. Super underrated. This thing is just amazing. And at the price, I would say the price point, properly rated. It's hard to find these things used. I mean, even in this recession type of situation we're in right now, distressors don't really go down in price. They just don't. People love their distressors. All right, we're just going to do one more. Or we can just keep going. Let's do all 10 of these on this list. Actually, the other ones on this list, I don't like. The Clark Technic 76, I don't know that, but we'll do the classic 1176 compressor. 1176, I would say, is the 1176 overrated. Plugins are amazing. The CL76 is killer. The UAD 76 is killer. But the hardware version, to me, it's a one-trick pony. It's just a little overrated for me, the 1176. Sorry to say that. I haven't tried all the versions. I know the, what's that called? What's that company called? The Stam Audio 1176 is well priced. So I heard that one's cool, but I think I would say overrated. Here's we got one. I'll do one more. I just next time I'll do microphones or something. This is kind of fun. We got Zach here. Is Zach still here? Yeah, I haven't tried the Manley or the Calrac. I wish I had more time on that. But I haven't. This is one of my favorite compressors of all time. It's the LA2A. I haven't gotten a real one. And when we did have a real one at IV Labs, it was always like in the shop or noisy. This one's hard to say. LA2A, original LA2A Teltronics. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Sonically underrated. Value overrated. I mean, for almost $5,000, it doesn't quite give you that magic anymore. Although it's one of those compressors, I personally love this on my voice. But I remember once again, when I it was one of the first compressors I fell in love with. But then when I was in the studio, it just didn't quite. Sometimes I'd reach for like a stay level or the other retro comp. They have the Retro 76, 176. Yeah, LA2A, gotta say, a little bit overrated, but I love the plugins. I love the sound. I love the color. I personally, I love it. I would say overpriced, not overrated. Underrated, overpriced. LA2A is underrated, overpriced. Because, I mean, the thing is freaking good, but it's also one of those one-trick ponies, but when it works, it works. I mean, it's just, I remember hearing this thing, it's just like, whoa. Like, when it works, it's like, it's doing its thing. That light cell in there. And I don't like the LA610. I had the LA610. That was one of the first channel strips I ever bought. I don't really like it. The tongue punch distortion. This tongue punch distortion. Do I got that one? Have I ever tried that? Have you ever tried that distortion pedal? Oh wow, holy shit. Someone made a fart pedal. But I'm trying to find it. Oh my god. I don't know if this is real, but we have this YouTuber, Ola. This is unbelievable. He's got this fart pedal. What in the world? Oh, it's a Kickstarter. 1 year ago. I wonder if they ever did this. Are you kidding me? Ola. What? The fart pedal. Oh my goodness. It's a Kickstarter. I wonder how it sounds. Crazy. That's just nuts. DBX compressor. Which one? Which DBX compressor though are we talking about? If it's like the DBX compressor. I mean, there's a bunch of DBX. I literally have a DBX compressor in my rack right now. I have a bunch of DBX stuff. I have like a few really nice things. You've been over here, Zach, and then some DBX stuff. I got a couple secrets. I mean, the DBX 160, this bad boy right here. Here, let's do this. For $250, underrated. Crazy. I mean, for $250, it sounds really good, and you could do a lot with it. It's really good. $250, this will get the job done. For vocals, it'll get the job done. But it actually sounds really good if you're recording drums at home, guitar at home. This thing will get the job done. Oh yeah, the DBX comp 160, the DBX 160. Nice little trickaroo. I do like the DBX stuff for getting the job done. I'm running this microphone right now when I'm I got 2 EQs on it. I got the SSL EQ from the SSL console. I got a little mini SSL console that I run the whole live stream through. But I've got it running through the SSL EQ, and then I have a DBX EQ in there too. And just to clean up, just to do a little precise cleaning, because I kept on listening to it back. And to be honest, I don't really mix the live streams much later. I don't like, it's already mixed together with the music. So if there's like a part where I'm like talking over a beat I'm doing or something, it's already 2 tracks later. I mix it down on my console live, so I can't isolate the vocal later. So then I do a lot of processing live. So I got the EQ going to clean up a little bit of the using a DBX. I'm kind of embarrassed. I actually really am embarrassed to say that I have my voice running, this microphone running through an SSL the channel compressor and the SSL channel EQ, but then I also have it running through. This is gonna blow your mind. I have it running through this DBX 131. Not this exact one, but right now there's a DBX 131 for sale for $45. Stupid. I remember buying the one when I bought one. This one's in pretty bad shape. 7 knobs are unadjustable, so you want to make sure you get one where all the knobs are working. This one's for $32. Semi-functional. No, you want to get a fully functional one, but still fully functional. DBX 131 for $76. It'll get the job done. It's a deal, dude. These things like they're dope. They're like little dope EQs. They get the job done. I wouldn't go all the way on plus 12. You're going to add some noise, but I mean, you're listening to it right now. You're listening to one right now. It's not in the recording chain. It's not connected to this microphone chain, the Lawson, the gold microphone. But sometimes when I have when I'm recording with this one, I have it on the insert. So sometimes I just don't even turn it off and just keep this EQ on, keep the 131 EQ on. It's kind of crazy because I am kind of an EQ. I mean, I wouldn't say an EQ snob, but I hit bypass a lot on EQs when I'm tracking. I love the API EQs. I love the SSL EQs, the Neve EQs. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna bypass. API comp. We can do this all night. We're gonna be up all night. The API comp. The API compressor. Overrated, underrated. The API 2500 Is this overrated or is this underrated? The API 2500. I got to go ahead and say underrated. This thing's this thing's solid. It's up there with the SSL. It's up there with the SSL. Sounds great. Real punchy. Sounds really good on drums. The plugin is amazing. Love this plugin. Loves the Waves one. Any other emulation ones are sound good. Good character. I like it. Are we gonna make music tonight or just talk about gear? Lawson, that mic is gold. That mic is gold. It quite literally is gold. It's gold plated. It's not. It's gold plated. But yeah, it's a cool microphone. I love that microphone. I've gotten repaired like 3 times, retubed and repaired like 3 times. Just recently went to a guy in New York. But yeah, he did a really good job. He did a really good job with it. Zach, I know Zach. Like you're on the stream. Robbie Gold's on the stream. We talk about gear all night. We talk about gear and distortion, just punchy distortion. We'll say punchy distortion. There is a fart box. There's a fart pedal. I showed you guys the fart box, the actual fart box. Can we buy a fart box? The Retro 176? The Retro 176? Overrated, underrated? Whew. Look at this tubes. Look at those tubes. Underrated. This thing's great. I mean, this thing makes anything sound really good. Just but yeah, this thing's 3200, kind of pricey. What about your Sony console? A lot of, I'm not going to lie, I had this Sony console many years ago, and I still can't stop talking about it. People still talk about it to me. I mean, deal of the century for $5,000. Folks, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Mine was even better, and we got it for $6,000. It was like 48 channels. And, I mean, you got EQs on there. Yeah, only 30 channels worked. But, hey, that's 30 channels. I mean, this thing's amazing. And it comes with a patch bay and EQs. I mean, for $5,000, underrated. Get out of town. Get out of town, Charlie Brown. Look at this thing. $5,000? Get out of town, Charlie Brown. I mean, come on. All right, we got to stop talking gear. We can't talk. We're going to end up, refinancing the house and buying a bunch of more gear. So we start in the studio. Having a studio in LA would be really neat. Would be really cool. Having a commercial space. Sometimes I want to rent this space out and have people come by and use the live stream capabilities too. Because, obviously I can't use it 24/7. You put in $49.50. I got the $50 and the tax. Yeah, I don't think that's a good deal for me. I don't think that's going to work out for me, man. I don't think that's going to work out for me. But I don't know. I've thought about it. I thought about starting another studio in LA. I had a couple studios in Chicago, and some of the best times of my life. Really, honestly, some of the best times of my life. A very difficult business. You need a lot of upfront capital, and it's service industry, and it's tough to make the numbers work, especially considering the gear. It's tough to make the numbers work just on the month-to-month bills, like rent, like electricity, like all that stuff. Getting food, getting everyone paid, getting your your accountant paid, getting your your runners paid, getting everyone paid, and then but then like to think about all the gear you actually have to buy. Uh, uh, it's tough to make the numbers work. It is basically like so you can have it's kind of like so you can have a studio because the number it's like hard to recoup the money you put in, but if you're making a little profit month to month, then at least you have a studio. That's kind of the thing. You have a studio you can go to. I got a studio we can go to, and you constantly have people there. So that's kind of the thing about studio ownership. It's tough. It's a tough business. I mean, it's hard. The studio business is tough. Anyone who tells you otherwise is crazy. I mean, East West, beautiful, gorgeous studio. They're selling software. They're selling some strings, software, and East West strings and stuff. And it's an expensive studio, and it's a beautiful studio. And there's a lot of studios like that where they have like some other backing or they're involved in other businesses. Having a little small operation would be really cool. I know Irko. Irko just started a studio. I think he built it from scratch. So it would be cool to do it if once if I own the real estate. I mean then it makes a lot of sense. Then it makes a lot of sense if we own the land. But then you got to do a build out. Then you got to think about $100,000. At this point in time, I'd rather spend $100,000 on a build out if I own the land than $100,000 on gear. But a lot of the gear retains its value. Man, we do need a TikTok hit. We need a couple hits. I don't want to be dancing though. I don't personally want to be the one dancing. Like, I'll do a little dance for you. Fuck that. Here I am. I'll do the Diddy dance. When you gotta do the Diddy dance. That's it. All right. Are we actually gonna make music tonight, or are we just talking gear? I think that's it. I think tonight we were just talking gear. Aren't we gonna do Freebird? 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you never change. Oh, 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 oh. And this bird you cannot change. Oh, oh Lord, I can't change. That's my Diddy dance. I'm coming. What other one he does is I got to get this mic on auto tune. And then what's the other one? What is the other one? He does what's the other hit? Every touch you. That's this thing. The song right there. It's like every move you make, every vow you break, every time you take, I'll be watching you. I can bust out the guitar and do some covers since we're just like chilling tonight. Since it's like just a chill. No music was made tonight. No music was made tonight. I'll tell you that much. That's it. I miss having a keyboard here. I ordered one. Guess what, guys? I did order one. A little one because I hated having a big one here. It just kind of it felt a little awkward for every day. It looked cool on the video, but like for every day, it was just like kind of like clunky. because you guys can't see on the screen, but I have my little monitors here and the big monitors there. Also kind of thinking of downsizing the video, starting another studio, but putting the big speakers like somewhere else. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but because it's like when I'm live and I got the cameras, I only need the little speakers. I don't when I'm live, I got the headphones on. I don't need the big speakers. But then when I want the big speakers and I want the vibe, sometimes I don't really want the camera in my face. Sometimes it's like just don't want the camera in my face. Talk more about the Sony board. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you about something. We had this Sony MCI. I literally can't find the same one, but it was like we bought this thing for like $6,000. And it was like it must have been, like 15 feet. I mean, this thing was huge. And so we go up to Michigan, and we're all excited. We're all just fresh out of college. And we go to buy this thing, and we get the thing. It's the middle of winter. It's just the dead middle of winter. And we get to the studio that we had leased out, the space we had leased out, and we had this giant staircase. And we get there, and we try to start taking up the stairs. And we quickly realize we're not going to be able to get this thing up the stairs. So suddenly, it's like 10 degrees outside. The door is just, wide open because this console is just stuck in the stairwell. We're trying to figure out how to get it up the stairs. We cannot figure it out. I mean, I think it was stuck in there 24 hours. I think we took a nap or something that night because we didn't get it. I don't think we got it up the stairs that night. I remember the next morning having breakfast like next door, like, being up all night, like brainstorming. I mean, it's just the time just flew by. Oh, yeah. Then we started dismantling it. We started, not dismantling it, but we had to take out all the channel strips. And then we're taking out all the channel strips in like 10-degree weather. And we got this fucking console stuck in there. And then finally we take out the channel. We still can't. Now everyone's gone. There's like 3 of us. So we still can't get it up the stairs. And then finally what we did is we got these, I don't know if it's good or bad, but we were downtown Chicago. And we were just like, we were looking for home. We found some homeless guys. We're like, yo, like, give you, it was $20. I feel bad nowadays with inflation. Now it'd probably be like $50. But back then, we were like, we'll give you $20 if you help us get this board up the stairs. And sure enough, we get the board up the stairs. Have to put all the channels back in. And got some really cool recordings out of that board. Tell you that much. Got some really cool recordings out of that board. Was a lot of work. And I don't regret any of it. Tell you that much. That was that Sony board we had. And it was very something similar to this one. Only it was like, I feel like it was 2 or 3 times the size. It was just huge. It was very long, and I don't know how we got it $6,000. It was like the 2008 recession. Everything crashed. Everyone needed money. No one expected things to crash that bad, and this guy just could not get rid of it. Just like this guy can't get rid of this thing. He's had it up on Reverb for 5 months, $5,000. But I remember it sounding really good. I mean, because I remember after I left the studio, I went to go join another studio that had a brand new API 1604 with 32 channels. And that board was kind of going for 100 Gs at the time. And I remember being like, wow, this board's like clean and warm, and being really excited about it. But at the same time, like, there was like a bit of a learning curve, and it just, something about it didn't have that character that the Sony console had. I was like, fuck, I missed that Sony console. It was a sound. And couldn't believe it. I mean, we just couldn't believe it that Sony console had that sound. Um, oh, we're getting spammed off of YouTube. That's how you know we made it. That's how you know we made it. Um, and so, and I remember that console was just like, it sounded really good. It had a lot of bite. The EQs worked, high passes worked, really nice high passes, really nice 300, 5K kind of stuff. It just sounded good. The 12K kind of brightness got a little harsh, but you just boost it a little bit, and then just a little by little. And especially the way records are these days, you really don't need like a ton of boost on the 12K. Records aren't like as bright as they used to be. I mean, the Sony console is, it's just really, it's just super underrated. I mean, I know why these don't sell, because they're big, because they're clunky, because they don't have the name, because it's a big old power supply, and there's inevitably maintenance. So it's like, you got to think it's a 24 channel console. Off the bat, maybe 20 channels work perfectly, maybe less, maybe 16 channels work perfectly, maybe 20 works, and then two of them, the EQ doesn't work on two of them, and then maybe something kind of weird with the high pass filter or the phantom power on the other one, just kind of like little things like that. But if you're the engineer working it every day, okay, these channels don't work, just don't use them. And if you're looking for a deal, I love these things. But that's if you're working with bands and stuff, and you're mixing, and you really need to use the console every day. I mean, I think for most people don't really use the console every day. I think most people are using summing mixers. I don't know what Manny Marroquin is doing. I know he started a restaurant. I know Manny Marroquin started a restaurant. I have yet to go to Verse LA. I really want to go. So I cannot wait to go. I am going to go soon to check it out, because those were awesome. That was awesome. Yeah. That this console, I mean, really a bummer. Really a bummer. I do miss this thing. And I don't know exactly the exact version we had. I mean, literally, it was probably sold for parts. I mean, probably literally the exact unit I had was probably sold for parts. And they're hard to find, and they pop up every once in a while. Because, yeah, look at that. The power supplies are clunky, and it's just like annoying, and it's not slick and cool looking. It's not modern looking. But if you need a console every day, this thing rocks. This thing rocks. But that's the thing. If you don't need a console every day, you don't really need it. And most people don't need a console every day. I mean, I got the SSL 6. It's a little one. What I want is SSL to come out with a 16 channel version with word clock. Then I can word clock it to my Lynx Hilo. And then if it's word clocked to my Lynx Hilo, I got some nice clocking capabilities, and I got 16 channels. And what I love about what they did with their recent console is like they have they got a button there where you could just like route it from or to USB, which is to the DAW. It's kind of like the old SSLs where you like, it's kind of like back to the beginning where like whenever you worked on a big old SSL, you could route it to 1 or 2. And then on the patch bays, 1 would be, routed to input 1, 2 would be routed to input 2, and so on and so forth. But if you have a console that's also the interface, and you could just go USB, and then in the DAW you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, just like it was back in the old days. Only you don't need, the 32 channel and 32 channel interface. It just cuts a lot of cost. It's nice. I cannot believe we spent this writing room talking about gear. Writing room 26, and literally the name of what I named it was It's New Song Time. And so it's kind of like an ironic where it's like it's new song time, but all we could do is talk about gear. Story of my life. We need a new song, and all we could think about is gear. That's crazy. That's something. Don't let the gear get in the way of you creating a new song. You don't need all the gear in the world. What you need is to make new songs. Is what you need to do. Because you can make music with anything. Really, you don't really need all this fancy gear, but it helps. I'll tell you that much. It does help. But you really don't need it. But if you know what you're doing and you got a lot of gear, it helps. It helps. I bought and sold a bunch of gear, and life has been good. Life has been good to me. Sometimes I wish I kept some of this gear, maybe, but you know, c'est la vie, as they say, c'est la vie, and it just comes a point where if you're not using it every day, and yeah, gear space. You don't really grasp my gear space. Yeah. So we spent almost an hour talking about gear. Unbelievable. I thought we were only going to start off chatting for like 20 minutes, and here we are. Just almost an hour. I'm not even going to write today. That was it. New song time, gear time. I'm going to actually rewrite. I wonder if it'll edit it. On some services, it'll re-edit it. It's gear time. Let's talk about gear. Let's talk about gear. What's funny is like gear in the fitness world is like steroids. That's what they call it, gear. I got a new song idea. What's your new song idea? We're getting spammed on YouTube. Private dating chat girls. Really? Let's talk about gear. I do love gear. It's awesome. It is kind of tough to justify the costs and everything. It does make some music realer. Just like when you do like real fader, when you do like a fader move as opposed to just automating it. You get kind of a different sound to it. You know, it's just one of those things. Music's a very interesting thing where it's like one of those things where like nothing matters, everything matters. I mean, Billie Eilish, the Billie Eilish records were made in their bedroom with like very minimal gear. I think they said like Ocean Eyes was recorded on an Audio Technica mic. I mean, that's bonkers. That's one of my favorite songs, and it's such a beautiful song. And she did like a zillion takes, and she was super into it. And so that's also what it takes. It's just you got to be really super into it and really pouring your soul out. And you got to be ready to do that. You got to be ready to do that. And you got to be in that headspace to do that and like okay to do that. That's one of the things that's hard about doing these lives is sometimes I don't always go as deep because there's not enough time to like and I would say, this might get me in trouble, but LA songwriting culture in general, sometimes it's like, let's get the song down, let's do it. And it's like sometimes a lot of pop music is like surface level, but when it's like surface level and really deep, that's when you know, just get something extraordinary. And I think Gaga was one of the people that like really just kind of scratched all the itches where it was like, just dance. It's going to be okay. I mean, wow. Like, it's just so surface level, but at the same time, just so deep. In a few words, just dance. It's going to be okay. Do. Just dance. I mean, so it's really tough to do that, actually, to get really deep and pour your heart out, but at the same time, have it be digestible where someone can just hear it right away and be like, wow, I relate to that. Like, You know what? You know what? I relate to that. Uh, and then we do the Diddy dance. Come on. What's that song again? The what's the one with the every breath you take, every move you make, every dial you take, every smile you take, I'll be watching you. Every breath you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you take, I'll be watching you. Yeah, but Sting sings it, but then Diddy comes out and says like, who sell out the stores? You gotta hit him with the shoulders. I'll be missing you. I'll be watching you. I'll be missing you. Oh right, is the Diddy version. I'll be missing you. I'll be missing you. Should we play it? Should we? The risk of the whole stream getting taken down. Just risk it all. I think they'll only block certain parts. I don't know. Here, I found a piano cover. I found a piano. That's why we gotta do that's why we gotta do Twitch, because Facebook would definitely not be mad about it. I mean, definitely be mad about it. If I just started playing copyrighted music. Copyright your friend and also your enemy somehow. Where is Diddy right now, by the way? missing you. When this life is over. I said I wasn't gonna dance. Every step you take. That was fun, and that was 1 hour. Last one, cause we the best. Music. This is Oscar. This is L'Amour now. It's 2022. Don't call me by my old name. This is L'Amour. Love you guys. This has been fun. And see you guys next week.